that 64 people were displaced. Fortunately, we are unaware of any serious injuries, so that is the most important thing, is that everyone who lived there that was in the building is accounted for and is safe. We also are happy to learn and report that all of the residents had renter's insurance for their apartments, which was required under their lease. And so they're working through their claims process for their insurance right now. The Red Cross, I want to give a giant thanks to Steve Cunanan and his entire team at the Red Cross. They were on scene early yesterday morning. They have been there to provide lots of services, advice, information to residents and others impacted by the fire. As of right now, no one is in need of shelter, but the Red Cross is on standby for that. I also want to thank Walmart. The local Walmart has reached out to provide help the residents get back on their feet with some needed things that they might need. And if there's also anyone out in the community that is interested, that has questions, that's looking for information, or wants to provide any support, the best contact for either supporting residents or getting information about the fire would be to reach out to their management office. You can contact Meredith Motley at 833-259-1279. And finally, I just want to thank again the amazing first responder heroes of the Louisville Fire Department and EMS that were on the scene quickly and that did an amazing job yesterday in ensuring that lives were saved and protected and that fought the fire in a very professional way. So thanks again to Louisville Fire, to EMS, to the Red Cross, to everyone that has been helpful. And while this certainly is in a very unfortunate event, pleased to report that there were no serious injuries as a result. All right. So welcome to our electrical maintenance facility here on Gray Street. And thanks so much to our Public Works team for hosting us here this week. As I mentioned in my first Mayor's Weekly Update last week, we're going to try to host these around the entire city at different locations for different reasons. And we do have a very special reason for being here today. We also are here today to show how great ideas from out in the community can be turned into action. So we have an update today on these very famous Bardstown Road street lights that people have enjoyed and seen and used for many, many years in our city. And now, even though they're no longer hanging above the road of Bardstown Road, we are going to put them back into good use. As many of you all know, these lights were removed in the spring of 2022. Their removal followed a series of safety studies with David Hayes from Electrical Maintenance, who's going to speak about that shortly. And the ultimate goal of the effort and the removal of these lights was to improve pedestrian safety with less impact on travel times and traffics. And so far, nearly 2 years into this, I'm happy to report that the results have been very positive. These well-known lights that you see here today were once staples of Bardstown Road, staples of the Highlands neighborhood, and they've been sitting in storage. But Maggie Harlow saw an opportunity when she heard about these lights sitting in storage. And Maggie had a great idea, an idea to put these lights back into use so that others, not just in the Highlands, but anywhere around Louisville who enjoyed these, could enjoy these lights in perpetuity. And so we're going to give these lights another life and at the same time do some good. So today I am excited to announce that we are indeed turning Maggie's idea into action, into reality, and we are going to have an online auction for these lights. So any Louisvillian or anyone can visit govdeals.com where they can bid on these lights through March 19th. Again, that's govdeals.com, and they can bid directly on these lights on an online auction. We'll put that link out in the press release. We'll post it online. And there are 55 of these lights that are available in both of these sizes. And David's going to give the specific measurements for anyone who is interested. But again, 55 of these lights that are going to be up for auction. Now, here's where some of the additional good comes in, where the money goes that's raised as a result of this online auction. We are very excited that half of the proceeds from this online auction of the Bardstown Road lights are going to go directly into sidewalk repairs on Bardstown Road. We've made tremendous improvements there that Councilman Ben Reno Weber is going to talk about briefly. We've made tremendous improvements in infrastructure on Bardstown Road, but these funds are going to go to continue improvements to the sidewalks that we need. And the other remaining dollars are going to be going into our Complete Streets Coalition, which are dedicated to improving the quality of our roads and infrastructure and sidewalks across our entire city. Our streets and sidewalks need to be updated and safe so that folks can enjoy our city in any neighborhood of Louisville. And this effort will continue to help make sure that that's the case with the funds that are raised as a result of this auction. So we've got some great partners with us here today that are going to talk a little bit about this. First, you're going to hear from Maggie Harlow, again, whose idea this was that she shared with us, and we are turning her idea into action. Following Maggie, you will hear from the Director of Public Works, Jennifer Kern, and then David Hayes with Electrical Maintenance is going to talk a little bit about the specifics of the lights. And finally, you'll hear from Councilman Ben Reno Weber, in whose many of these lights once sat, and who is working closely with us on continued improvements to Bardstown Road, to the entire corridor to continue to improve that neighborhood. So without further ado, let me introduce the person who had this amazing idea, an amazing businesswoman, civic leader in our city, Maggie Harlow. Maggie?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mayor Greenberg. Thrilled to be here. I grew up in the Highlands, exploring Bardstown Road and enjoying the iconic experiences of Ear Ecstasy, the Twig and Leaf, and Mid-City Mall. When I got my driver's license, I had to learn the mysteries of navigating the red and green arrows on Bardstown Road. It was a rite of passage for all Highlands teens. It was a bittersweet experience for me to watch Bardstown Road go through this recent transformation. I got used to the new parking arrangements. I got used to the new turning lanes, but I had to draw a line in the sand when I saw my beloved X's and arrows being removed. Beloved, well, if you know, you know. Seeing these signs removed, it occurred to me I needed to have one. I needed to savor the nostalgia of old Bardstown Road. And then it occurred to me that maybe others may want to own a little bit of Highlands history. I was thrilled when I mentioned the idea of saving these lights just in passing to Mayor Greenberg, and he immediately connected me with Public Works, and the idea was put into motion by that team. We're keeping materials out of landfills, we're keeping the Highlands spirit alive and well, and we're raising some funds for our beloved city streets. This is a great example of how city government should work when we face change, even when we don't always agree with the changes. I'm delighted to be a part of this announcement that many of us can bring home a little bit of Highlands nostalgia. And now I just have to figure out how to bring back Ear Ecstasy.
Good morning, Jennifer Commissar-Kern, Director Louisville Metro Public Works. Today is an exciting example of the positive change that comes when you work together. We've got Maggie's great idea. We had KYTC as an incredible partner on our Bardstown Road safety improvement. And of course, the incredible work by our electrical maintenance team with Louisville Metro Public Works. As the mayor mentioned, half the funding raised through the auction will go directly to sidewalk repairs on Bardstown Road. The remaining dollars will be directed to our Complete Streets Coalition to make ongoing efforts to improve pedestrian and make safety improvements. The Complete Streets Coalition has already invested $500,000 in local funds, primarily in Justice 40 areas. The Complete Streets Coalition used an iterative process of ongoing participation to decide how to spend these funds, and that's what will happen with these funds as well. We see this as a model for transparency, equity, and collaboration. Through this process, we can remove barriers to walking, biking, and using transit on our streets. The primary function of Complete Streets is to review a Complete Streets checklist for publicly funded projects to ensure those projects meet or exceed the guidelines outlined in their Complete Streets design guide. So that is to ensure that every project is a Complete Streets project. And these funds will definitely go to making our streets safer and healthier for everyone.
Good morning. Again, my name is David Hayes. I am one of 3 supervisors here in electrical maintenance. Just a quick overview on our department. Our primary function is to take care of the traffic signals, over 1,000 traffic signals in the city of Louisville, not only metro, but state also. We also maintain the civil defense sirens, as well as the school flashers around town, along with many other functions. One of those functions being we did maintenance for years on the lane lights. The electrical maintenance department has 23 employees, 1 inventory coordinator, and 1 administrative assistant. In December of 2018, the Bardstown Road Safety Study was performed. The study originally stated that the lane lights had already exceeded their expected life expectancy, so a decision had to be made for replacement or removal. Following a more comprehensive study performed by KYTC and PWA, analyzing all information, it was recommended that the best course of action was the removal of these lane lights. Based on that study, it was also determined that the removal would not impact traffic. However, the addition of dedicated turn lanes along the Bardstown corridor needed to be added. In April of 2020, KYTC and Louisville Metro government determined the lane lights along Bardstown Road Avenue corridor were to be set to off-peak plan hours. That let them gauge the effectiveness in eliminating the peak hour lanes historically present between 7 and 9 a.m. and 4 and 6 p.m. during the rush hour times. The intent was improve pedestrian traffic, not only a negligible impact to travel times and traffic delays also. Electrical maintenance crews set those controllers and the cabinets to off-peak hours. This allowed for that study to be performed. Results were positive, so KYTC approved the removal of the lane lights. Permanent removal of the overhead lights started in May 16th of 2022. Work consisted removal of all power, cabinets, the lane lights themselves, overhead spans, followed by the removal of the steel screen poles. The final step was the restoration of the sidewalk due to removal of those poles. The project concluded in May of 2023. In total, there were approximately 21 spans removed. As you can see here today, we have 2 sizes of lane lights. The larger one measures 33 by 33 by 26.5, and we have 27 of those available. The smaller are 21 by 21 by 24.75, and we have 28 of those available.
Thank you all so much for being here. I'm excited about this project on so many levels. I, like Maggie, remember very clearly learning to drive on Bardstown Road and having that moment where you look up and you're like, oh man, what's that? Oh God. So I think that was a rite of passage for many of us that grew up in this part of Louisville. And I love the idea that we are maintaining this history and tradition. I look forward to what uses people can find for these things, particularly in the public art space. I think there's really something that when we make a nod to our city's culture and history, we can create very cool things. I'm more excited about what this signals in terms of the way that we engage citizens and government and the way that we think about how we overlap things that make financial sense and benefit for our city and the things that we want to accomplish as a community. We know that we want to create streets that are welcoming and safe for people in every mode of travel. And I want to give a particular shout out to Streets for People who have been really driving our thinking about this as a community. I also love that we are investing in creating a space for community members to have ideas and partner with government to execute those ideas when our values and visions align. I mean, this is such a perfect example of the kind of innovation that will allow us to generate extra revenue for the things that we want, make our community more interesting through displaying these things, and also really giving voice to the concerns that people have about mundane things like complete streets and sidewalks that are so important to our quality of life. So I really want to thank everyone involved in this for being a part of it. I look forward to seeing what happens next. To the people at the several community meetings who recently have been yelling at me about the quality of our sidewalks, hey, look, we do actually have some money for this. Go bid on these things and get us some more. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Councilman Reno Weber. We're going to, we'll take questions at the end, but we'll just, if there are questions specifically about this, while several of these guests are with us right now, if there are any questions about what we've been talking about here, we'll take them now and then open it up about any topics at the end of the announcements. The more the merrier. As Councilman Reno Weber said, we could put every dollar to great use in our Complete Streets program and Bardstown Road sidewalks. So we don't yet have a projection. This is going to be totally driven by the bidding market and how many people share the nostalgia that you heard from Maggie, from Councilman Reno Weber, people like myself that grew up with these and want to have a great use for them.
Well, the small one, I vision in maybe someone's rec room, or if you are really creative, you might have it in your living room, maybe your backyard. Of course, they're outdoor durable, as they've been outdoors for a very long time. The really big one, I think, could be repurposed as an outdoor table. So I think it would take a little bit of changing of the structure, but I think that would be totally doable. So I have a lot of ideas. So if anyone's bidding on these and needs help figuring out ideas, feel free to reach out.
There will not be a minimum bid, so we're going to just let the market take over. Roberto? Dave? A lot.
It takes two people to lift this one. You can do this one by yourself, but it's pretty tough. I don't have an exact poundage.
Anything else? All right. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Maggie, for the great idea. Thank you, Councilman Reno Weber.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Bid often and bid high. So again, that's govdeals.com where you can bid on that. And next, Noam, come on up here. Next, we have another really fun update and an announcement. I apologize that we're doing this before lunch and not after lunch. It will likely make everyone hungry. But as everyone knows, Louisville is an amazing city for food, great food. In fact, just recently, Travel and Leisure named Louisville as one of the top 10 foodie cities in our entire country. And just last week, USA Today named both Barn 8 and Nami Restaurant as two of the best restaurants in the country for this year. Also, we recently had more acknowledgement where Dan Borsch and his entire Burger Boy team were named as one of the most beloved burger joints by Southern Living. The recognition of our local food scene here in Louisville continues to thrive. We're so lucky to have all of these great restaurants right in our backyard, these great chefs, their great team that really add so much to not just our food scene, but to the entire culture and flavor, pun intended, of our city. Well, this week, we have the opportunity to show our support for all of these local restaurants and chefs and teams, because this week is Louisville Restaurant Week, which kicked off yesterday, and it continues through this Sunday, February 25th. Our city is celebrating all of the unique cuisine that makes our city and food scene so interesting. To learn more about this, you can visit LouisvilleRestaurantWeek.com to see all of the participating restaurants. There you'll find participating restaurants, you'll find menus, locations, hours, and even the opportunity to check in from your phone and to earn points. And the top person who visits the most has an opportunity to win $300 in gift cards. So now I'm so grateful and honored to have one of our amazing local chefs with us here today. Noam Blitzer is the owner and chef at Mish Mish on East Market Street. Rachel and I love eating at Mish Mish. We have had amazing meals there. And we're so glad to have him with us here today to talk a little bit about what it means as someone who's been in the Louisville restaurant scene and someone who now manages, runs, and cooks in a Louisville restaurant every day, what Louisville Restaurant Week means and what the local food scene means for our city. So again, the executive chef of Mish Mish Restaurant and owner of Mish Mish, Noam Blitzer. Noam?
Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Mayor Greenberg, for having me up here. It's such an honor. So, restaurants, I think, too, a lot of people that are involved in them are super important from a community standpoint. Being the owner of Mish Mish really allowed myself in a market like Louisville to bring the unique flavors of Eastern, like Mediterranean, Levant region, flavors that I grew up eating to Louisville, which is such an accepting and warm community that thrives with new flavors and new restaurants. And really the importance and ability to be able to do that and have a very tangible approach to be able to open a restaurant, which as a chef and operator is not an easy feat to start doing in most cities. So the importance of that community also from the public, but ultimately the teams that get to be built within those restaurants is what really drives myself, and I can speak for a lot of other restaurant owners and chefs that it's really like the importance of that team mentality that we get to create special and unique experiences for our guests every day that we're open and serving the community. It's really great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Noam. And if anyone is in the mood for some of the most amazing hummus and pita bread, along with, as Noam said, other great Mediterranean dishes, feel free to visit Mish Mish or one of our other great local restaurants around the entire city. There's more good news we have to report. Last week, Louisville got some great news from our federal partners. As you all know, the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport is essential to our city's success. From the booming tourism to supporting our economy and business communities in many ways, the airport opens the door to our city for people around the country and around the world. And thankfully, the airport is seeing some major wins. Just last month, we celebrated 2023 as the best year on record for Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. And last week, there was even more positive news that really foreshadows even better years ahead beyond what we've already accomplished. We announced that the U.S. Department of Transportation will provide $13 million to the airport. This funding is through the bipartisan infrastructure law and will be directed towards improvements, including the addition of 4 screening lanes, which are very needed given the growth in passenger traffic in our airport, and an upgrade to the airport's power system. Our airport is seeing significant growth, and this funding is going to be critical to make sure that we keep moving in the right direction, that it continues to be a great experience for passengers as they're checking in and leaving or as they're arriving in Louisville. So I'm so grateful to everyone at the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport for their support in working to get this grant. And I'm also want to say thanks to Senator McConnell and Congressman Morgan McGarvey for their efforts as well in supporting this as we continue to look to leverage federal dollars to invest right here in our city. And we're excited about this continuing to happen over the coming months ahead as well. And finally, it is Love Your Pet Day. And we have one final guest with us here today, a couple of guests here with us today that are going to join me. It is, do you want to stand out in front? Is that going to be easier with these blocking you? With Ronnie? Okay. If that's okay. So today is Love Your Pet Day. And I know Rachel and I, every day in the Greenberg household for River is Love Your Pet Day. But this day we wanted to bring special attention to a special Louisvillian that we're recognizing here today. And that is our friend Ronnie from Louisville Metro Animal Services. As some of you may have seen or heard, Louisville Metro Animal Services is currently at capacity. And there is an urgent need in our community for folks to adopt dogs or to foster them. Dogs like Ronnie here. He is a gorgeous 1.5-year-old mixed breed who's about 60 pounds and incredibly cute. He's vaccinated, neutered, and microchipped. And he would be a great best friend for anyone in our city. He loves meeting new families, is good with kids, and loves playing fetch. So if you are interested in helping out dogs like Ronnie, if you are interested in adding to your family's quality of life with a dog, just as our family's life has been improved ever since River has been in our house, please visit Animal Services at 3528 Newburgh Road or visit online to learn more by searching Louisville Metro Animal Services. Our interim director of LMAS, Adam Hamilton, is here with us today to share a little bit more. Adam?
Well, Metro Animal Services is currently over capacity, as the mayor said. This year, we've taken in 17% more animals than we did at this time last year. And what we're looking at is that trend will continue to rise if we do not do something soon. We're currently doing a special for urgent need dogs such as Ronnie, free adoptions for pets over 40 pounds, or excuse me, free adoptions for most pets, or large breed. And we offer resources as well. So we offer what's called a Good Pup, which is training for animals. So each adopter will get a training for free and can get further training if they need it for their pet. We also do fostering. If you can't keep your pet, you can't keep your pet and want to foster a pet, that's a great thing. You can foster for a couple weeks, for a month, or you can foster to adopt. Foster to adopt, try it out. If it works, you can keep the pet. If your pet's missing, we urge you to come to Metro Animal Services and look for your pet. We also encourage you to license and microchip. The only way we can get pets back home is if they're licensed to microchip. We need to know where they're from. A microchip will definitely get your pet home. And the biggest problem that we have right now is we need everybody to spay and neuter their pet. Without spay and neuter, we're going to keep having overpopulation at the shelter. And this is just not a Louisville problem. It's a problem in the United States right now. I'd like to thank the staff who are doing a heck of a job right now, keeping everything together, caring for the animals, and to thank our rescue partners and all of our partners such as Kentucky Humane Society and Alley Cat Advocates for all their help that they've given us during this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adam and Ronnie. We hope that we help find you and all of your friends a new home. What an amazing pet in addition to any family that would be. We do encourage anyone to reach out. Well, before Ronnie and Adam and Stephanie, before they depart and we open it up for questions generally, are there any questions about anything with Ronnie or adopting pets at LMAS? All right. Yeah, one question. Yeah. I'm opposed to that proposed bill. I think we should let the Louisville ordinance stand as it is. As you just heard from Adam, the biggest challenge that we have right now is we have so many animals that are coming into the system. And so we need to encourage people to spay and neuter all of their pets. We need to encourage people to microchip their pets. We also need to encourage people, don't get a pet if you're not committed to that animal for the long term. It is a job. It is work. There is real responsibility in having a pet. And so we encourage people to not even begin that journey if you're not committed to it for the long term. But I do oppose that bill. All right. Well, thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Adam and Stephanie. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And with that, I'm happy to talk about anything that we just mentioned or any other topics that you all would like to ask about. Yes.
That would hurt that. I'm talking about the DEI stuff, but what are your reactions to your thoughts?
We need to be focused on moving Louisville and Kentucky forward into the future. And our future in Louisville and in Kentucky and around the country is one that embraces diversity, equity, inclusion. One that embraces people from all walks of life, from all races, from all backgrounds. And so I'm strongly opposed to any bill that is seeking to tarnish, to get rid of any type of DE&I programs, particularly in our school systems, whether it's K through 12 or higher education or period, any that are getting rid of any DEI programs. We need to continue to be a welcoming community, an inclusive community. It's one of the things that makes us strong. Our administration certainly is committed to that, and we are going to continue to publicly oppose any efforts that are moving Kentucky and Louisville backwards, not forward. When you think about it, Just think about it. Louisville is a city that has a population of approximately 23% of its population is Black. Yet only 2.3% of our business owners are Black. That is simply unacceptable. And one big reason why that is because all of the history in our community, in our country, where not every individual had the same opportunity. They didn't have the same opportunities in education, in the classroom. They didn't have the same opportunities to borrow money. We need to do a better job in Louisville, in the state, in our entire country of investing in individuals, people, and institutions that have been overlooked and neglected for our entire lifetime. And some of these bills, again, are sending us backwards and not forwards. We're done.
We've heard that the city is expecting to get a first draft of the consent decree from the Department of Justice this week. Can you speak to that? And when the city receives a draft, are you planning to share that draft with the public?
I am planning to be as transparent as the United States Department of Justice will allow us to be. And I will simply say, stay tuned, and I'll have further comments in the near future on that. Yes.
Have you had any conversation with state legislatures about a JCPS 5?
I am aware of the bill that was recently proposed in Frankfurt that would create a task force involving JCPS. And let me say this about that particular bill, is that I have not heard any compelling reasons to split up the JCPS district. I'm concerned that splitting up the district would cause more problems for our students, for our schools, for our families, for our city's future than it would solutions. That said, I am ready, willing, and able, and our administration is, to work with anyone in the state legislature, at JCPS, in the community, on additional solutions and support for JCPS. Our public education system is of utmost importance to our kids and our families today, and it's critically important to the future of our city. And so one of the things as mayor that I strongly believe I should be doing is supporting JCPS and working with them as a good partner to continue to improve our schools, to continue to support our teachers, our bus drivers, others that work at JCPS. As a matter of fact, I'm going straight from here to hear the State of the District address that Superintendent Marty Polio is giving this afternoon around lunchtime. And I'm there to show my support for JCPS so that they know our city government is here to support them in any way we can. Yeah.
I know LED uses the shot spotter system and it's helped them a lot to respond to areas, but then you have cities like Chicago who are getting rid of that. Does Louisville Metro have any plans on keeping the shot spotter system, getting rid of it like other cities who don't think it's as effective?
As far as I'm aware, it has been a very effective tool for us here in Louisville in many ways, both with identifying areas that we need to respond to right away, as well as helping to solve certain crimes. So I'm not aware of those other problems that you had mentioned. I will certainly discuss that with the chief and look into that with her to understand why other cities are going away from that, but I'm not aware of any challenges. I've only heard positive results from the shot spotter technology in our community.
There, House Bill 18, which is the House bill, is on the order today for a vote in the Senate.
Is House Bill 18 the one about the income disparity and accepting that? That is another one. You all like to ask about all the bills I oppose. I don't support that bill also. I mean, creating pathways for individuals to have access to affordable housing is critically important. It is one of the priorities of our administration to create and build 15,000 new or renovated affordable homes across our entire city. And even that won't address the entirety of the need for more affordable housing. And so we need to be doing everything at the local and state level to make it easier to access affordable housing, to make it easier to build affordable housing, to make it easier to build, renovate, and develop housing, period. We need more housing in Louisville. If we want to support our families, if we want to prevent individuals from becoming homeless, if we want to help grow our economy and provide a foundation for comfort, growth, stability for all families, we need more housing. And so I'm opposed to that bill because it will make it more difficult for people to access housing. I'm one who believes in following the law. I'm not aware of all of the details of what that might mean or what the options are for the law at the time, but so I'll look into that.
One more question,
Roberto?
I was going to ask about something that you supported in the legislature.
Okay.
In your proposal, your agenda for Louisville ahead of the General Assembly session, you asked for, I think, the most money that Louisville Metro has ever asked for in the state for affordable housing for various projects. Obviously, the budgets are not final yet, but how are you feeling about what from your proposal has actually been included in the budget?
Yeah. So I think that the budget process really has just begun in Frankfurt. The governor proposed his budget. The House has passed its version of the budget, but we all know that that process is just beginning. And I'm very optimistic about the collaborative discussions that myself and our administration has had with the governor and his team, as well as with Senate and House leadership, with Republican leadership, with members of the Democratic caucus. We are making the case for how investing in Louisville is critical for the entire state and how that can provide a great return on investment. I think everyone in Frankfurt recognizes the importance of Louisville to our entire state as an economic engine. We're working to get over any past divides that were there and show how we're all part of the same Commonwealth. We all can succeed together and how these investments can truly benefit people across the entire state. And we've had very good conversations. We continue to. We are working very collaboratively together. And I am very hopeful as we progress through the session that Louisville will be the beneficiary of some historic investments in our community.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all very much.